Hey guys, Nicole from Whittle Grove here, and we're back out in the garden, this time to do an update on my chilies. So you may have remembered a few months ago I sat down and I talked about introducing everyone to the magical world of chili peppers, aka spicy boys, and I'll chuck a link up in the corner here if you haven't seen that video yet. So it's been a few months since I've done that video, and now it's time to actually do an update and check exactly how my chilies are progressing. There were a few points that I missed out and didn't take as seriously as I should have, and I did jump the gun, and now growth is suffering as a result. As you can see here, I planted this lot of super hots and just a few normal chilies. I planted these back on the 11th of September, and generally on the back of the packet it says it takes about 20 days for the seeds to germinate. As you can probably tell, there are a lot, and mostly all of the super hots haven't actually germinated yet. And that's because even though I drilled at home that they need to be above 10 degrees Celsius or whatever that is Fahrenheit, we'll pop that right there. I drilled at home that they need to be above that. And even though we're now in mid-October here in Western Australia, it's still dropping below 10 degrees at night, which is, I don't know, unexpected really. So these guys are a little bit slow to germinate, but there's hope for them yet. I also, keeping in mind, I wanted to sort of have them a little bit out of the wind so they would probably hopefully stay a bit warmer. I didn't factor in the fact that the sun has moved, which is why I'm probably now in the shade and this lighting's terrible. But anyway, didn't factor that in. So the original placement of my greenhouse was not so good. So now I've moved it to where you can sort of see it behind me. It's getting a little bit of wind circulation to help with some dampening off that happens. If you're not familiar with dampening off, it's basically your soil's too moist and the little seedlings, when they pop up, they actually get attacked by like mold or something. I don't know. They die. They rot out. It's not good. And they weren't getting enough sunlight. So chilies need about 8 hours of sunlight a day, and they need to be warm, and they need a little bit of air circulating. So I've had to move the greenhouse to hopefully encourage a bit more growth. So as we look at all my little chili pepper starts, you can probably see that there are seed husks still stuck on quite a lot of them. And that's because I missed a very, very crucial step that I am kicking myself that I didn't discover before I went and planted all my super hots, but that is the magical power of tannins. So I will link in the description an incredible series that I've recently watched on YouTube, which goes through the whole process of starting your own chilies inside to making hot sauce, which I highly recommend. And in it, he goes through that wonderful thing about we need to replicate what happens to chili pepper seeds in nature. And what happens is birds eat them, and inside their stomachs, things happen. And obviously we can't really replicate that wholly in real life, but what we can do is we can actually soak the seeds in tea for about half an hour, and the tannins act in a very similar way. So it sort of helps soften up the seed husks and makes it easier for the seeds to pop out. And now I see why. Now I see why that's important, because look, these guys, you can see I've pulled bits off, trying to free the seedling from the seed husk, and I've actually just damaged the new leaves in the process, which isn't ideal, and fingers crossed that they survive. But had I known about soaking them in tea for half an hour, I would like to think that I would have less of this seedling thing, and I will absolutely 100% be doing it next time. So that's it. A month on from starting my super hots, I would suggest, in addition to that, make sure the greenhouse is copping a lot of that sun. And I am aware that I will need to move my greenhouse in summer because this afternoon sun is going to be way too hot for any living thing to endure. The importance of tannins and soaking the seeds to start them up, and just really, really being mindful of what the overnight temperatures will drop to, because it will slow everything down. So there you have it. That's it from me. I'm Nicole from Whittle Grove. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Until next time, have fun in the garden.